So, all right, so Nikki, we've identified a couple of key teacher actions, I think. I think you've been highlighting really well that one of the actions that you feel you need to target is E4, that correcting student misbehavior. And I agree with you. I think one of the ones that I've been pulling out here is the P3, the planning your key points. So I'd actually like to push farther forward with the P3, since that's sort of our key lever for this.
So you don't think that I really need to focus on student behavior as much?
Okay, actually, that's sort of hesitation from you, unless we know that I need to back up a little bit, because I've been transparent. So what I'm thinking is, I agree with you that student behavior is something we need to address, but I want to address the key points a bit first, and here's why. I think in sitting in the back of your room, we can see from my notes, like I noted here, there's a moment where you gave an unclear explanation, and then we saw misbehavior. And so what I'm thinking is that if you really get down this writing of key points really well, then your explanations are clear. And if your explanations are clear, I think that might address the misbehavior due to confusion. Does that connection make sense to you?
So you think that if I was able to maybe explain whatever key point I'm going over more clearly, then students would be paying more attention because they wouldn't be confused. And so then they wouldn't misbehave.
Absolutely. It seemed like you were really hesitant at first when I brought up P3 as the key lever, but does it feel like you're on board with now?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I need some work on my key points. I can definitely remember there were points when I was trying to explain something and I felt a little confused myself, so I can imagine my students may have been feeling confused too. So.
Okay, cool. So let's keep P3 as our key lever, but I also want to touch on E4 after we finish up this part of the conversation, just give you some technical feedback to see if we can address P4 or E4 really quickly.
Okay, that sounds good.
Excellent. Okay, so in moving forward, do you feel like the reason why you're struggling with writing key points, because I think we both agree that you are, is it sort of a knowledge piece where you feel like you don't know what good key points look like necessarily for your subject area? Do you feel that it's a skill gap if you know what they look like, but you're having trouble breaking it down? Which of those two is it?
I think I would probably say skill because I know, like, I'm teaching math, so I know the content. I, majored in math and everything, but learning how to break it down for a ninth grader is probably not a strong suit for me, so I think that's where I'm kind of troubled.
In looking at this, I think you and I are both addressing two major teacher actions. E4 of addressing student misbehavior, I think we feel really passionately about that, and I've been sort of advocating for P3, the writing of your key points. I'd love to hear you actually talk through why you think E4 is the biggest deal for you.
So, I mean, because I majored in math in college, like, knowing how to write key points is not an issue, especially for what I'm teaching. Like, I'm teaching ninth graders how to graph. I mean, I know what a graph looks like. I know how they're supposed to plot points. I know how to explain that. I really just feel like students are off task. They're not paying attention, and that if I could address those misbehaviors, then I would actually be able to get to the teaching of my key points.
Okay, I hear you on that, and I somewhat agree. Here's where I'm coming from when I'm thinking about addressing the key points first, is like if we look at our notes, I see actually a pretty strong correlation between times when students appeared to be confused and when they would start to misbehave. So here we have, you gave this explanation about graphs and you didn't really label it, and it was a little confusing for me, and then James threw a piece of paper, right? And then I see here that you didn't really give a full definition of what the x-axis actually was, and then Cynthia started to talk. And so I'm seeing that correlation. And what I'm thinking we're going to do here is just like a little thought experiment here. If we zoom out, if we made you really good at one of these two skills. So like take me through, if you became really good at E4 and had behavior management down, but you were still a little weaker in your key points, what do you think the effect would be?
Well, I mean, I think if I could not have kids throwing paper and not have kids talking, then I think if students were confused, they would raise their hand and ask questions, and then I could explain or clarify anything I need to clarify.
Okay, cool. I get you. Where I'm coming from is I actually want to preempt most of that confusion. So this is what I'll do is I'll zoom out for P3. So I'm thinking if you write really strong key points and that translates to your intro to new material and you present that in like a dynamite, killer, clear way so that almost all your students are following along, then they're following along, engaged in the material, understanding the material, and they don't have the opportunity or the desire to misbehave at that moment. And so I think we have less mixed behavior, but we also have student learning happening at a much higher level. And so I think we kill two birds with one stone. And then after that, after we address the P3 issue, then if we still have some remaining behavior management stuff with E4, then we can start to address that. But for right now, I'm not sure if I can separate your behavior management and the planning as two separate entities.
So you think that, so I'm saying if they weren't misbehaving, they could ask questions. You're saying that they would probably not need to ask questions if I were more clear in my key points. But I still don't see how that is going to stop them from misbehaving.
Okay, so I think this is the moment where I think you may have to trust me as an experienced observer of classrooms, in that I'm really convinced right now that their misbehavior was a result of them not understanding. Right? Oftentimes misbehavior, as you've seen in CS sessions, is a student doesn't understand, so they check out, and so that's when misbehavior happens.
Okay.
And I think like that's because there's that link. Let's address those students who are misbehaving because they don't understand first, and then if we want, we can spend some time with some technical assistance, and I can give you a couple of quick strategies so that we're effectively using all of our time addressing the academic needs of your students first. And then if we have behavioral issues, I think they might be targeted with some more technical feedback.
Yeah, I can go with that. I mean, I remember that when I turned around and saw James throwing the paper and I asked him a question about what I had just taught, he definitely could not answer it. And when I had like a separate conversation with him during independent work time, he did have some like major misconceptions about the things that I taught. So, I mean, I'm willing to try it and just see if it works.
I think so, and I think actually, like, I think once you start to instruct and get James to really get the material on board, I will bet you 9 times out of 10 that his behavior will get significantly better, and you'll start to get that 100% compliance 100% of the time out of him.
All right, I can go with that.
Okay, so going forward, like if we're going to focus on writing key points, do you feel that it's something that you need more knowledge of what it looks like, or is it a skill thing? And I think you hinted at it earlier with your background in math.
Yeah, so I think it may just be a skill thing. Like I said, I have a degree in math, so I know like what graphing is, what ordered pairs are, and like what the different parts are. I think where I'm having trouble is figuring out how to make that simplistic for a 9th grader and not like relying on the experience that I have through calculus. So I just need to make sure I'm doing that in a kid-friendly way.
Cool, that totally makes sense to me. All right, so let's start to craft our key steps right now.
Okay.
Our next step.
All right.